Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the prelim fights for UFC 253, Adesanya versus Costa. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and our first fight on the prelims. So in our first fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Ibragimov versus Danilo Marques. So when I was looking at this fight at first, I was looking at the odds, and I was wondering why Ibragimov, a guy who's 0-3 in the UFC, is a favorite over anyone, and why is he even a decent favorite, let alone, why is he a favorite, let alone a decent favorite over anyone? Then I looked at Danilo Marques, and I quickly saw why. I watched one fight of his, and really the first fight I saw of him, he don't got that many fights on YouTube, but the one fight I saw him, and the first fight I saw him, he got knocked out by some amateurish looking guy, and he looked amateurish. He keep his hands up, at least that's one good thing, but it all defeats the purpose when you hang your chin up anyway. You could keep your hands up, but you gotta keep that chin down as well. Why your chin hanging up? He can look kind of timid out there, overextends on his jab. He moves his feet, but like I said, not that active with his hands, not real good head movement, keeps his chin hanging up. So he makes a lot of defensive flaws, a lot of offensive flaws. Looks looks pretty amateurish. Then outside getting knocked out in one of the biggest fight, or the fight you will see first when you Google his name. YouTube his name. Outside of that, when I look at his record, I think he fought on a 2-fight win streak, I believe. But either way, he hasn't fought since 2018. The last people he beat a guy who was 0-16 submitted him, and he beat a guy who was 6-5 or something. So he pretty much beat two super cans. And the last guy he fought, he took the decision, and he submitted the can in the fight before that. So it hasn't looked impressive. And really, since the knockout, all he did has been beating cans, and he hasn't fought in 2 years. So even though Ibragimov isn't no stud or anything, or has not shown to be no stud, he at least has had some credible, decent wins. I'm not saying he has the biggest wins, but he at least has fought some decent organizations and has had wins. And he came to the UFC not looking like a can or looking like a guy that would go in 3. He looked like a guy that would at least kind of hold his own for a little bit. But the cards just weren't in for him that he would have a decent UFC career. But either way, to get to the point, Danilo Marques just looks amateurish. Ibragimov isn't the most amazing fighter, but he certainly is a decent enough fighter. He's a decent fighter. I'm not going to say Ibragimov's a bad fighter. He's a decent fighter. He's not a good fighter, but he's a decent fighter. And Marques is just not even really much to talk about. I don't know why they're bringing him in here. He has no credentials to be brought into the UFC, but I guess maybe they want to keep Ibragimov around, so they're bringing him in just to fight, or maybe a spot needs to be filled, and he's filling that spot. But to get to the point, Marques, timid, chin up. Ibragimov could be aggressive, catch him around the guard with a looping shot, drop him in the first round, and finish him off. So in this fight, I got Ibragimov via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Juan Espino versus Jeff Hughes. So look at this fight right here. Jeff Hughes, for me, really, he's like a fighter. He's not like a one-dimensional fighter. He's not no fighter that's so talented or nothing. He's kind of a fighter, he has a good understanding of the MMA game. Decent striking, definitely tough and durable. That's really his best trait. He's tough and durable, and he got endurance. He's not like a guy that's, you see this guy he works out. This guy looks like he's amazing. He got one of those body types that where it don't look like he do much. And he got a good size. We 6'2", 6'3", or maybe 6'1", whatever. He's not a small heavyweight, but he kind of got he got some blubber on him. But he can go as long as the fight needs to go. He got good cardio and good durability. He could take a good shot. He could get rocked and get back to his feet. And a lot of times in fights, he'll start off losing, and if you don't finish him, he'll come back and they'll bite you in the end. You'll get tired, and he'll turn up the pace and either finish you or start piling up the points and win the fight via decision. You look at his last fight, or one of his last losses. I think he got dropped in the first round, gave the loss the first 2 rounds, but then the third round, he had a big third round. If it was a 5-round fight, it'd probably been a fight he'd win. Then you see a fight where I'm thinking another guy he fought. He beat him outside of UFC when it was a 5-round fight, but then when the UFC was a 3-round fight, it was kind of similar pattern. The guy was dominating, beat him early on, then eventually he started to catch on to his pattern and started to win, but it's only a 3-round fight, so he lost the first 2 rounds and then won the third round. So similar pattern. So he's a guy that gets better as the fight goes on. But like I said, this been a 3-round fight, and him not really being a super talented, takedown stuffer, amazing striker going against Juan Espino. But let me just go, before I get into the conclusion, or I'm already kind of went to, Juan Espino is kind of weird in a way for me, because he's already I think when he won the Ultimate Fighter, he was already mid-30s or later. I think it was 36 when he won the Ultimate Fighter. And then he took 2 years off for whether it be injuries or contracts or whatnot. It still just strikes me as somebody that when you're already past your mid-30s, to be wasting 2 years doing whatever. Like, you got injury, like, you better just fight through that injury or doing something, or just be out there, be active, because you're kind of late in your age, and even though the heavyweight can go maybe even 10 years and be 40. Well, I'm gonna say the heavyweight prime, or the heavyweight, juice kind of ends around 43, 44. And then maybe if you're great, or you just got a great strategy, you kind of stand it a little bit later than that. But even at heavyweight, you don't have forever at heavyweight. Just like any other weight, you don't have forever. You eventually get old, and you gotta make the most of your opportunities and most of your time. And I feel like he kind of wasted 2 years for whatever reason. I'm not gonna Google it, but that besides the point. I just had to get that out the way. But going against Jeff Hughes, I feel like Espino been a fighter that had at least stellar grappling. Whereas I said Hughes the most stellar thing about Hughes is the fact that he can take a lot of damage, and he can battle through adversity and come out strong in the later round. I feel like it's a win if he'll have to go through getting taken down by Espino, getting ground and pounded, submission attempts, and surviving all that to come back in the third and stop Espino. But what I see really is he's going to rally in that third round, but with more so it's going to be this not enough. And it's not going to be like where he's going to just be Espino just gassed and him just wilding on him. It's going to be more so like he probably get a couple shots. He's not going to win the round, but he probably let his hands go a little bit more in that third round. But then Espino probably going to go for another takedown, his Kieran, and just ice the round off and win a three-round decision, 30-27, take him down, control him, and dominate him for the better part of 3 rounds. So in this fight, I got Juan Espino via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the light heavyweight division, William Knight versus Alexa Camur. So look at this fight right here. One thing I want to say off the bat, they said William Knight is 5'10" versus the 6'1" Camur, but I think William Knight is one of those guys that's really like 5'8". I've seen him fight a guy 6 feet, seen a guy fight this height and this height, and he looks like a guy who's like 5'8". They give people some inches sometimes, and every time I see something wrong or off about somebody's height stat, I always got to mention, I think he's just 5'8". But if he's 5'10", am I wrong? I'm wrong, but I think he's 5'8". I think it's going to be a big factor. I think Camur, he's a little bit wild out there, like he's still a young fighter. But he does fight, has a very good length to his kicks, good to his jab. Now I think William Knight, even though he's short, I'm not about to give him a compliment. I'm gonna say I have to give him a critique. I feel like even though he's short, he makes himself even shorter by how he punches. Like he kind of swings. He's okay with his kicks to the leg, maybe to the body, but his punches, I don't think I've ever, another fight, I don't think I've seen him hit anybody in the face until they try to dive on a takedown and they held on too long and he started smashing them, or he got their back. Really, the only time I see him landing punches on anybody is when maybe to the body or when they're on the ground, crumbled up and he's beating on them. That's the only time I really see him land any punches. His punches, I really see him land punches. And like I say, he don't have the best punches for real. He kind of overstands on stuff, kind of swings, loopy shots. Not the most technical punches. Decent technique to his kicks. An okay grappler, but not really. Because a lot of times he get on the ground, he be in bad positions, get his back taken and be getting pounded out, or somebody mount him and be pounding him out, or somebody be in his guard, pound him out. And then somehow he kind of finds these opportunities in these scrambles and he gets in the dominant position. And that's where when he's most dangerous. Outside of when he gets the advantage of a scramble, he's not really the most spectacular fighter. He's really a true regional talent at best outside of those opportunities where people make mistakes or he takes advantage of a scramble and he gets on top. Say somebody try to go for a takedown, he's able to stuff it, then land some ground and pound, or somebody try to do some takedown, they trip and fall and they get on top of them, or like I said, a reversal scramble, these little odd situations he takes advantage of, and then he can start to pound them out, get those clear shots there, where you're not trying to reach for nobody, you're not trying to find a range, that is literally up underneath you, he can land his heavy hands. But going against Camur, I think Camur is longer, gonna be much, even though it's 6'1" versus 5'10", I think it's gonna look like 6'3" versus 5'8". That's how it's gonna look. Camur doing kicks, I think Camur could beat him in the striking easily all day. And then in grappling, I think faster, sharper. Only Knight has on him is power in his hands, just general power. But outside of that, I think Camur is gonna be out value him, out striking, out working him. I think he can take him down and submit him. And what I really do, I think he just outworks him the whole fight, picks him apart from distance, and then starts to work his grappling in the second round, take him down, and then ground and pound him out in that second round. So in this fight, I got Alexa Camur via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Shane Young versus Ludovic Klein. I hope I'm saying that right, but it is what it is, and let's see how this fight. So look at Ludovic Klein. He's an interesting fighter. He does have the biggest arsenal strikes. I did see a couple little tools, but I think what really, people have arsenals, you look at what really is in their arsenal, what really is their game plan, and what really is their tools of destruction. Not a lot to this. He has basic 1-2. He's real solid with that. He'll trick, but let me say, the real thing behind Klein on the feet is he wants to land that rear head kick. That's really everything he does is to land that rear head kick. And you can see a lot. He got at least 2 highlight reel rear head kicks, and one of them got him in the UFC. So That's what he wants to do. He'll slam. He got heavy kicks. He'll slam those heavy kicks into your leg, into your body. But like soon, not too long after, like whether it be one kick or a punch after that, that rear head kick is coming. It's coming very sharp. And even if you know it's coming, a lot of times it'll still catch you off guard. Just how fast and how effortless, like with little effort he'll throw that. I don't know why I stuttered on that. I was struggling to say that, but effortlessly he'll throw that. Like, so it's a very sneaky kick. You know it's coming, but it's hard to react to because it comes so fast. But like I said, he'll disguise it behind his left hand. He'll disguise it behind his leg kick. Like he'll smack kick your leg basically out from underneath you. Then you can be trying to check the kick. Then he'll slam that head kick right back after you. Or he'll throw a jab. Then he'll feint the jab and then throw a big head kick. Like everything like that. That head kick is his kill shot. But that's pretty much what I see about him. A solid striker, but not the biggest arsenal. I see Shane Young as a guy who comes from city kickboxing, or at least trained at city kickboxing for a good period of time. And a lot of those guys, they got that good lean back and they got a good reads on head kicks. You've seen with like Adesanya and some other fighters in the same camp. And Darren Hooker and several other people, they all got good reads on head kicks. And Shane Young is one of the better people at reading head kicks. So I feel like stylistically wise, that kind of favors Young. He still has to worry about Klein because when somebody has patented head kicks, even if you got a good read on it, you got to have an even better read on it. You got to train specifically for that style of how they set their head kicks up, because it's not like a typical head kick, because he has like I said, he has that trademark head kick on his side. So, but I feel like Shane Young will be able to study it, get a good read on it. He comes from a gym with a lot of good strikers, and will be able to get a read on that. And if he can shut that head kick down and then chew up the legs of Klein, use his fork, I think he presents much more arsenal in his strikes. And I feel like he can, like I said, he can shut that head kick down. I feel like that definitely grounds Klein a bit. I feel like Klein's grappling and takedown defense needs some work. And I feel like Young has been working on that, and he can implement that in the game to definitely throw off Klein's head kick, like mixing some grappling, mixing some clinch opportunities. Then on feet, chew up his lead leg. So he can't really plan off that and drive off that. Then maybe go back to the hind leg or the inside leg. But yeah, what I was really to see is, like I said, I just think Shane Young has, all he needs to do to get a good read on that rear head kick, like the rear, not rare, but rear head kick, the hind leg head kick, and be able to get a good read on that. And it's really outstrike him. If he can shut that down, he really shuts down Klein's game heavily. Like I said, he has a good read on head kicks, and he comes from a gym with good read on head kicks. And he comes from a gym with a lot of high level strikers. And I think he can come up with a good strategy. I think he can, approach him in a way that he can shut down his biggest weapon. And with that, it opens up Shane Young's game. And even without him really shutting it down, I think Shane Young is a cleaner striker and has the far better arsenal and the far better range control as far as this fight. But Klein does have slightly better boxing. I'll give him that. But like I said, I feel like Shane Young can shut down that rear head kick, which will shut down a lot of his game. And I see him out striking him once he shuts down that head kick. So in this fight, I got Shane Young via decision. Now to our next fight we have in our co-prelim headliner in the welterweight division, Diego Sanchez versus Jake Matthews. So first off, this fight is very up in the air. It's not like a fight where, this guy is so young and so talented and Diego Sanchez is over the hill. Yeah, you can say Diego Sanchez is over the hill for some fights, but anytime you throw Diego Sanchez in a grappling match, he has a shot. Anytime you throw him in a grappling match, he has a shot. And Jake Matthews, he has shown some striking success in his career. A lot of times when he goes against a better striker just gets a little bit wilder there, his striking quickly shows that he still needs one of the areas. Matter of fact, it's the biggest area of his game that needs work is his striking. Because his grappling is pretty solid. I'm not saying he's going to be the world beater with his grappling. He definitely needs to work on the striking to really be anybody in his business. I doubt, even if he trained purely grappling, he would not be the best grappler in the UFC lightweight division. I don't think he'll be the best grappler in any division. He's in the welterweight division, but he wouldn't be the best grappler in the welterweight division, wouldn't be the best in the lightweight division, any division down. He could be one of the best if he trained that, but where he's at right now, he's definitely, I wouldn't even say top 15 in any of these weight classes as far as grappling. But going against Diego Sanchez, like I said, Diego Sanchez, anybody in the grappling aspect, Diego Sanchez got an opportunity, and Jake Matthews striking where it's been at, it definitely opens up for him. But in this fight, there's money definitely to be made that potentially made off Diego Sanchez in this one against Jake Matthews. Like I said, it's not like a guarantee for Matthews, but I'm going to lean to the youth in this one. I'm leaning the fact they can improve, because Diego Sanchez, obviously to anyone's eyes that has been watching the show, he's been plateaued for a decade. So I feel like Jake Matthews can make improvements. I feel like he's a younger fighter, and I feel like he could push the pace, even though Sanchez has always had cardio and still has cardio. I'm going to feel like Jake Matthews is a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit younger, and he can push the pace longer. And yeah, it's really a grindy match where, one of those tough high cardio, high intensity grappling type matches with some little bit of sloppy striking. Could turn exciting, could turn boring, but when is Diego Sanchez really ever boring? There's always excitement with Diego Sanchez, but yeah, probably like a sloppy kind of tough, grueling fight. But I feel like Jake Matthews, being a younger fighter, just has that edge in this one, like, and he has that ability to adapt and change, and he's still working and still improving and still involved with Diego Sanchez. Like, he's been the same for like 10 years. So I'm leaning to the youth to win the grueling, grappling, gritty, kind of sloppy match. So in this fight, I got Jake Matthews via decision. Now to our prelim headliner, we have in the lightweight division, Brad Riddell versus Alex De Silva. Yeah, so looking at this fight right here, I think De Silva, as far as his grappling wise, I think he's the better grappler between him and Riddell. But I don't think his offensive takedowns and offensive grappling is anything like that Riddell has not seen and has shown the ability to, deal with. So I really think this really comes down to a striker. I think De Silva might try to go for grappling attempts in this fight, but I feel like Riddell will be able to stop the takedown. And even if he Silva is able to have a little bit of success with the takedown, I feel like Riddell is hard to take down and harder to hold down. So he's going to get back to his feet. And it really might just end up wasting energy for De Silva. I don't see him take him down and taking his back and choking him out, or take him down and getting some guillotine or something, or Darce or anything like that, or Camur. I don't see him really doing anything like that in this fight. So I really just see it takes really his attempts to take downs, whether to slow down Riddle striking, to tire him out, or to get points. And either way, like any of those options, I see Riddell just either stuff to take down or quickly get back to his feet. And I see it as a striking matchup. I think De Silva's a nice striker, a lot of talent, a sniper at times. Got some good hooks, got some good power to his shots, got some good power to his kicks. But I just think Riddell has obviously fought at a much higher level of kickboxing. He fought some of the best kickboxers of all time, especially for his era and for the time. I'm saying it's like this guy's 100 years old, but he's still a pretty young guy. All that being said, but he's fought some real killers out there in kickboxing, and he has hold his own with a lot of them. And he's beaten a few of them as well. So Riddell is a very high level striker, and then you've seen his own strike as well, how he sets things up, how he feints things, how he controls rhythm, how he distorts range and distorts timing. I think De Silva's a good MMA striker, but I don't think his striking really translates to high level striking, like pure striking. So he got some good kicks, he got some basic setups. But like I said, I think Riddell, everything that De Silva would throw, Riddell would have an answer to, especially on the inside. We get inside, and he got some good counters to the body, to the head, some quick, good, heavy combos. And I think that's really where he's going to win. I think he's going to shoot a leg on the outside, work his way on the inside, and counter De Silva on the inside with his punches. I think he drops him in the first round and finish him off in the second round. So he gets a drop in the first round, then follows up that success, while De Silva isn't able to recover in the second round, and stops him early on in the second round. So in this fight, I got Brad Riddell via second round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the prelims of UFC 253, Adesanya versus Costa. And as always, thanks for watching.